Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Before we go to the editorial analysis, a quick look at the new batches, new courses I'm going to launch and have launched. Announcement of new batches for banks, SSC, UPSC, SPSC, the foundation courses. Today I'm launching foundation course bilingual, that is Telugu English. And this course is for those who are preparing for banks, SSC, UPSC, SPSC. It is a foundation course for all competitive exams. I'm going to teach using two languages, English and Telugu. Course fee is on or before April 1st. Today is the last day, 2000. After April 1st, it is 2500. If you purchase today, it is 2000. If you purchase tomorrow, it is going to be 2500. This is a live batch, live sessions, and the time slot evening 7 p.m. There's another course I launched almost three topics are over nouns, verbs, nouns, pronouns, verbs. This is also a foundation course for all competitive exams, but it is in English. And there's an offer, actual course fee 2500. Only today, if you purchase only today, it is 2000. And live sessions, it's also a live batch. The time slot, evening 6 p.m. That's all about the new courses. Now let us start the actual session with the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial is about the compounding crisis. Compounding, you can also say accumulating, crisis, singular, crisis, plural, caused by a summertime water shortage, particularly focusing on the situation in South India. In a nutshell, this editorial is about water crisis. Where? What is the problem? Water crisis. Where is the problem? Especially in South India. You all know recently I have done one editorial, water crisis in Bangalore, South India. Yes, Anush, I was waiting for that. Have a look others, all those words, nouns of Latin and Greek origin. And what is the problem? Water crisis in the sense, what exactly is the problem? There's a crisis, shortage, lack of, dearth of. Shortage of water obviously results in water crisis. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is serious, urgent, and critical. Urgent, serious, critical. A new word, serious. The situation is really serious, especially if you take Bangalore. It seems that people are going to malls to take a bath and they're leaving Bangalore in large numbers. This is what the media reports say. We don't know what exactly the ground picture is, but there is a shortage of water. They are experiencing water scarcity right now. How does it start? Compounding crisis. Compounding crisis. Here, crisis is a noun, but generally, compound is a verb. We can use verb ing form as an adjective. Here, because it is describing a noun, it is an adjective. But as a verb, what does it mean? Compound, part of speech, verb. Now, good. I appreciate all those words are very important and useful. Compound, part of speech, verb, to make a problem or difficult situation worse. His problems have been compounded. Once the problems get accumulated, obviously the situation becomes worse, from bad to worse. Exacerbate, another important word. On the impact of a summertime water crisis. What is the impact? What is the impact going to be uh, of a summertime water crisis? But what is the main idea of this editorial? Water deficit. Here, when we talk about shortage, there's so many words. All of you can have a look at the comment box. Shortage, still I'm writing here. Lack, dearth, scarcity, deficit. All these words more or less mean the same. Water deficit worsens. Here, worsen is a verb. Because the sentence is in present tense, affirmative form, and the subject is third person singular, we should add s or es to the verb. It is a regular verb. Worsen, worsened, worsened. Water deficit worsens other adverse events for the poor. Imagine already poor they have to face other adverse events. Adding something like fuel to the fire, water deficit worsens other adverse events for the poor. It is obviously, I expected, quite obvious. Adverse, what is the part of speech adverse adjective? What does it mean? Preventing success or development, harmful, unfavorable. I also give the word adverse means generally adverse report means what? Negative report, negative, unfavorable. There is only enough water to fill 23% of the holding capacity in all of South India's reservoirs. In South India, we have reservoirs, and there is enough water. To what extent? To fill 23% of the holding capacity, not 100%. We have the reservoirs, they have the 100% capacity. But right now, whatever we have, the water we have enough water to fill only 23% of the holding capacity in all of South India's reservoirs. The Hindu reported last week based on an analysis of Central Water Commission data. Based on a particular data, the Hindu reported last week about this particular fact. What is the fact? We have reservoirs, we have water, but this water is enough only to fill to the extent of 23%, not 100%. There are two words over here. One is enough. Enough, enough can be an adjective. Enough can be an adverb. Enough as an adjective, not that important. I have enough time. I don't have enough time. Enough as an adverb is important. As an adverb, here it is an adjective. As an adjective, before a noun, water is a noun. But as an adverb, it comes after an adjective. Big enough, large enough. Here, big is an adjective, enough is an adverb. This combination is important from the exam point of view. It talks about the capacity, to what extent we have water reserves as of now. This, according to analysis, is 9 percentage points lower than the rolling decadal average. If you take average for the last a few decades, this is 9 percentage points lower. 9, that means 23% add 9%. 9% points lower than the rolling decadal average, decade, 10 years, speaking to the certainty and the magnitude of the impending crisis. Telling us, speaking to the certainty means what? Something is going to be certain. Speaking to the certainty and the magnitude means dimension, the size, extent of the impending crisis. Magnitude noun, impending crisis. Here, crisis noun, impending adjective of an event regarded as threatening or significant, about to happen or about to happen, forthcoming, likely to happen. It talks about, in a way, this fact. We have water to the extent of filling 23% of the capacity. Talks about something. What does it talk about? The magnitude of the problem and also the magnitude of the impending crisis, the extent of likely crisis. When did South India experience something like this? The last time South India faced a summertime water crisis was in 2017. 2017, similar problem. The crisis in the same region this year is poised to be different and worse for a few reasons. So, in the same region means South India, the crisis in the same region this year is poised to be different. Is poised to be means is positioned to be poised, positioned to be different and worse for a few reasons. Not only different, it is going to be worse for a few reasons. The editorial lists out four reasons. First, the monsoons are influenced by various factors. We all know that. Of these, El Nino events render them more erratic, even if isolating the influence thus is a simplification. What it says, there are four reasons. First reason, monsoons are influenced by various factors, and the most important factor, El Nino factor. Of these, El Nino events render them more erratic. Render means to make or to give or to cause to become something. A render, to cause to become something. Render them more erratic. Render is a verb, erratic adjective. Erratic means what? Not even or regular in pattern or movement, unpredictable. We have got these words many a time. El Nino events render them more erratic, even if isolating their influence thus is a simplification. To isolate their impact is a simple thing, but they are going to make the monsoons very erratic. There was an El Nino event in 2014-16, whereas this time there's an ongoing event and among the five strongest such events in recorded history. We had in the past El Nino event 14-16, whereas this time there's an ongoing event. It is going on and among the five strongest such events in recorded history. Second reason, after meteorologists recorded 2023 to be the warmest year on record, they also said they expected 2024 to be worse. Unfortunate. 2023, according to meteorologists, was the warmest year on record. And adding to that, they also said they expected 2024 to be worse. And the warmest, bad, 2024 is going to be worse. Imagine how it is going to be. A team led by the UK Meteorological Office also predicted a 93% chance that every year until 2026 will be a record breaker. That means what? 2023 warmest year on record. 2024 is going to be worse. According to the UK Meteorological Office, it is chances are 93% that every year till which year? 2026. That means that 2024, 2025, 2026, every year is going to be a, that we cannot, it goes with geography. It's a phenomenon that goes with, I cannot explain here. Will be a record breaker. Third reason, millions in India will be spending some additional time outdoors this summer to cast their votes in general election. That also troubles the people. The third factor, millions in India will be spending some additional time outdoors this summer to cast their votes in the general election. The fourth reason, this crisis has happened before. Yet, 2020 also we had a similar problem. In the past also we had similar problems. Yet, while some policies and forecasting have improved, preparedness and implementation of these policies on the ground have not. Usually, what happens, we experience a bad incident, and based on that experience, we'll be prepared. We'll think of some measures, we'll think of some remedies, so that next time it happens, we are prepared and we can handle. But this presents contrasting information. Though we have experienced, yet, while some policies and forecasting have improved, there was some improvement, there have been some improvement. Preparedness and implementation of these policies on the ground have not. Two things have not improved. One, preparedness and implementation of the policies. Other factors, besides these four factors, editorial says other factors are there, including unplanned urban growth, over extraction of groundwater, low water reuse efficiency, insufficient community involvement, and encroachment and or degradation of catchment areas persist. All these are other problems. What are the other problems? Over extraction of groundwater. Because of that, today groundwater has got depleted in many urban areas. Low water reuse efficiency. We don't focus more on reuse of water. Insufficient community involvement, like catching rainwater. We don't have those techniques. Insufficient community involvement. Please excuse me, I'll be back in a minute. I'm really sorry about that. Are you guys there? Please respond. Are you guys there? I had to go out. Something important. Thanks for waiting. I appreciate that. I was talking about other problems. What are the other problems? Over extraction of water. Yes, yes, because emergency had to go. Over extraction of groundwater, low water reuse efficiency, insufficient community involvement. That is also a problem. Uh, Harvesting rainwater, involving the community, very important. Encroachment is a major problem in urban areas. Encroach is a verb. Encroachment, noun. What does it mean? Gradually occupying someone's property, intrusion on a person's territory or rights. In this context, the territory. Whose territory? The government's territory. Public property, people keep on encroaching. Climate change will impose a deadlier cost on low and middle income countries. The sentence talks about the impact of climate change. Climate change will impose means what? Force upon. We have got many a time. Will impose a deadlier cost on low and middle income countries such as India by creating simultaneous crisis. Simultaneous crisis. Same time, not one problem, many problems. While the phenomenon, today we have got a lot of words based on nouns of Latin and Greek origin. All of you have a look at the comment box. Some students have posted all those important nouns. While the phenomenon changes the way weather events co evolve, it also affects the frequency of their occurrence such that Two events may develop a greater chance of transpiring together than they did before, such as a drought and a disease outbreak, which in turn will worsen socioeconomic conditions among marginalized people. From here to here, one sentence, not easy to comprehend. And what does it mean? While the phenomenon changes the way weather events co evolve, this sentence is all about substantiating this particular part. Simultaneous crisis, not one, simultaneous many problems. While the phenomenon changes the way weather events co evolve, it also affects the frequency of their occurrence. One thing is negative impact, another one frequent negative impact, such that frequency based on that, two events may develop a greater chance of transpiring together than they did before. Two events may develop there's a greater chance for two events to develop. Transpire here means to develop, to become. It has many meanings. Together than they did before. Such as, what are those two events? Drought and a disease outbreak, which in turn will worsen socio-economic conditions among marginalized groups. The whole sentence talks about the negative impact, not one problem based on that, not one problem, two or three problems, and developing together and making something like double trouble. Two events may develop together, work together, and make the deadliest impact. One is drought. What is drought? For a prolonged period, no rains. We use the word drought. And the next one, we all know that word. We have got many a time. Disease outbreak. This is also a major problem. And who will get affected? Rich people have nothing to lose. It will make an impact on worsen socio-economic conditions among marginalized groups. This is an important word. I think I'm blocking. I will write here marginalized, an important word. Why is it an important word? And important from which perspective? When it comes to descriptive English, you have to write an essay, you have to write a letter. In the essay, you have to use what we call power words. Usually, they ask you to write about economic development or something related to economy. Then you have to use words like marginalized communities, downtrodden people, underdeveloped communities. These words are very important. Marginalized, downtrodden, underdeveloped. Those are the expressions you have to use. Any water crisis must be seen. We must see something this way. Active voice. We must see something. Something must be seen this way. Passive voice. Here it is in passive voice. Any water crisis must be seen against this backdrop. What is a backdrop? Not one crisis, crisis, many problems, and one more problem developing together and making an impact, where it is both a crisis in itself and a factor that compounds the effects of another. As I said, acting together like something like double trouble. That a region's water situation becomes a precarious. We have got this word many a time. In a nutshell, what does it mean? Precarious, dangerous. That a region's water situation becomes precarious after 1 year of deficient rain is a sign. Imagine after 1 year deficient rain, the situation becomes dangerous or precarious. It shows something, it tells something. What does it tell? Is a sign governments are not learning their lessons or ignoring them. What is the message here after the deficit reigns for 1 year? If the governments are not prepared, what does it mean? Either they're not learning their lessons or they're ignoring the problems, even if the deficit was considerable. Substantial, considerable deficit, ignoring, not being prepared, not acceptable. No more information or context is necessary. We don't need more information. We don't need another context to understand this fact than what already exists. It goes without saying, we don't have to depend on more information, more contexts. But governments and policymakers seem to need reminding that this and future crises will neither be just about the water nor the fault of climate change. So many things are working together, contrasting word, but governments and policy makers seem to need reminding that seem to need reminding that this and future crises will neither be just about the water nor the fault of climate change. Other associated problems are going to come up. That's what it means. I have brought the questions, daily practice questions, but lack of time I'm not doing. What I suggest, 7 days a session. I don't know how many of you are from the north or not, mother tongue is not Telugu. You prefer English to English. For those guys, the session ends now. 7 days another session in that is bilingual English and Telugu. There I'm going to spend time on these daily practice questions. If you can, I use bilingual, but you can easily follow. What you can do, join a little late, maybe after 20-25 minutes. You can work on comprehension based skills. You can work on, I'll bring the timer as well. You can work on error location, today's questions, para jumble, and also fillers and consolidation. After a long time, I have brought consolidation slide. Thanks for being with me and sorry for that break. Have a nice day. Do remember to subscribe and share. Thank you very much.